Landlords, are you going to be able to get back possession of your property very easily in the future with the government's plans on the white paper? That's a very big question to ask. If you haven't already, do please subscribe and click on the bell if you wish to make sure that you're getting updates on when we release new content in the future. So, the big question, the government's plan with the white paper, they're going to remove the Section 21 no-fault eviction facility that we've got as landlords and as letting agencies. What's your thoughts on that? It's a big change. It's a big step forward. So what is a Section 21? Section 21, for example, if a landlord wishes to sell their property, wishes to move back in, it's a no-fault eviction. You're giving your tenants 2 months' notice to vacate the property. Now, if they're in their fixed term, it can't actually come into play until the end of their fixed term. If they're in a rolling contract, you're giving that at any point 2 months' notice for them to vacate the property. And if a tenant is in a rolling contract, they can give you 1 month's notice at any point to vacate the property itself. Now, a Section 8 notice is where more a tenant is in breach of their tenancy agreement terms and conditions, whether it be they're in rent arrears, for example, which is a mandatory ground, if they're, for example, 2 months in arrears, or whether it be a case of they've been acting in breach of their tenancy agreement terms and conditions. These are ways in which you can get back possession of your property. So they're looking at doing a reform at the moment. They're looking at introducing a simpler renter system. So, for example, at the moment you have fixed terms, typically a minimum term of 6 months for a tenancy. They're looking at removing the fixed terms, just a periodic rolling tenancy. And if a tenant wishes to vacate a property, they have to give 2 months' notice rather than the 1 month notice as is in place at the moment. In addition to that, you can only evict a tenant as a landlord in reasonable defined circumstances. So we'll be given these by the government as far as the new white paper guidelines. So reform of grounds for possession. So if you're wishing to get back possession of your property, as I said, landlord wishes to sell the property or wishes to move into the property, valid terms and conditions, no problems at all. If there's rent arrears, as I've said already, it's a mandatory ground. You can use those to regain possession of your property. They're planning on increasing the actual notice period. So currently on a Section 8, if a tenant is in arrears, you have to give them 2 weeks notice to vacate. They will be increasing that to 4 weeks. However, if a tenant is acting antisocial behaviour, for example, they're actually reducing that notice period of asking a tenant to vacate a property itself. The judges must grant possession for a landlord if a ground is met from the new guidelines that are brought in. In addition to that, for example, if they're going to introduce all this, this will be 6 months' notice to new tenancies if it's going to be brought in, and 12 months' notice for existing tenancies. Now, this is all, as I said, it's all proposals. Will these things come in? We will have to see. However, we want to make sure that you're doing things right as a landlord at the moment and that you are compliant. That's the reason why you've got the free download in the comments below. Please click on the link. It's a compliance checklist for you as a landlord to make sure that you are doing things and doing things correctly as a landlord. So please, if you haven't already, click on the link below and download the compliance checklist.